So as Speaker Ferrandino said, we're working with the state legislature on some issues to help generate revenue for RTD so we can build out fast tracks. That's what we're really focused on. You guys voted for it, or those who lived here in 04 voted for fast tracks. We want to see that built to fruition. Hopefully, the form it takes could change. We're going to start a study in the northwest area that will hopefully determine whether rail is still the most viable option. It looked good in 04, it might not look that good now because development's changed, etc. One thing that just came out of the Transportation Committee is allowing developers to build parking next to RTD facilities on behalf of RTD. Right now, RTD can't charge in-district users for the first 24 hours. This would allow developers to, and there's a big gray area there, on parking facilities that our users can use without it being an RTD facility. So anyway, this would define that line better. We are looking at refinancing some bonds and some other mechanisms, some other financial mechanisms that would help us get up to 72nd on the North Metro line. So out of the stop show, continue on the North 72nd to 72nd Avenue. Hopefully we'll know that. Well, it left RTD's committee this past Tuesday. We'll have a full board meeting on it. Should be on the unanimous consent. Hopefully, it won't be pulled off. And then maybe, possibly, hopefully, go out for bid on the rest of that in the fall. So we have about so if these things happen, if the stars align, we'll have half the money, and then we can apply for the other half from the federal government and other sources, and then put it out to bid. We're hoping. So that would get us to 72nd up into Thornton, and then above that, hopefully soon. Just trying to think. I think that's it. I have to go to Lakewood and do this again.
Quick question, is it true that the West is going to open in 60 to 70 days?
That's the big news, yeah. So April 26th is the first day the West Line opens. Saturday, that following Saturday, the 27th, will be free, and revenue service starts on the whole system, the whole rail system will be free, so you can get on at University or somewhere and ride for free downtown. So do that and patronize our business downtown, museums, etc. So yeah, 28, first line of fast tracks open. Yay.
Just could you what the heck is going to happen with the empty space, the parking, and the whole area here at University and I-25, the University of Denver stop? I mean, you've got all of that empty space. I heard that that finally there's going to be a building there. I mean, what's going on?
Right to the south of the platform, on Buchtel. I went to Buchtel High School back in Ohio. But here's Buchtel, and the platform, there's that triangle-shaped piece. There's going to be a groundbreaking George Thorne, the developer who built the apartments at Yale and I-25. He's building another senior apartment complex, or building there, and the groundbreaking is February 26th.
Is that all going to be redone? I mean, I use it all the time to try to get in and out of the garage. You're walking, you can't drop people off.
Right,
I mean, it is a mess.
You're right. So that triangle is going to be redeveloped. He's going to put like I said, a senior apartment complex there. He's also going to give RTD for free, a kiss and ride lot. So somebody can drop off, say goodbye, park for a couple of minutes while they're waiting for somebody to get off the train. And that should clear up some of those decision points that make it so confusing.
And what about all the empty space underneath the parking structure?
We don't know. Probably RTD will use that for its own storage stuff. It's not plumbed. It doesn't have water. So it would take about $1 million to get that in shape for a Starbucks or something like that to move in. So RTD can use that and cut some contract that we have, so we can save money. So we can use our own facilities instead of somebody else. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. So it will be used, not the way that we, back when it was built, they had hope, but it'll be used.
I vote for a Starbucks.
There's only 3 within 3 blocks of there, so.
Yeah. You don't want to walk too far.
Yeah.
Local coffee, not Starbucks.
Yeah, right. So Dietrich's,
Kaladi.
Anything else? Okay. Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
Let's go now to our city councilman, Chris Nevitt, who I'm sure has many things on his mind. Mentioned one issue he wanted to talk about, but I think he'll probably up for anything.
I have a lot of things on my mind, none of which I can share with you guys. I'm Chris Nevitt. I represent South Denver on the Denver City Council, and really, I mean, you know, the show right now is the state legislature. It's you know, a three-ring circus on every dimension. It's, you know, insane, but, you know, it's thrills, spills, chills. But amazing stuff is happening, and, you know, with the asset bill, with civil unions, with actually making a run at common sense gun safety legislation, it's pretty amazing. So at the city, we're just trying to keep our city running smoothly, efficiently, making it a place you can be proud to live in and don't have to think about too much while we're thinking about what's going on at the state legislature. I do want to thank you once again for passing Measure 2A in the fall. That's made a huge difference already. We're already hiring police. We're going to be opening the libraries. We've done the hiring to open the libraries for every library in the system, 48 hours a week, which is a dramatic increase. We're already we're teeing up for this construction season to start paving all those additional lane miles that we can now pave with the money from 2A. Parks and Rec is dialing up their whole maintenance program, so 2A has made a huge difference. We're not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination, but this Measure 2A kept us from going over the cliff, and I thank you for that support. And speaking of giving thanks, that sounds so religious, but I mean giving thanks, I just want to thank, I was at the county reorg last weekend, and I just want to thank everybody who came out to that, but all the people who stepped up to take the positions in the local party organization. Really appreciate it. I mean, every 2 years, the forces of progress, fairness, and common sense go to war with the forces of reaction, greed, and ignorance. And, I don't want to offend anybody who may be offended with a martial analogy, but you know, it is a war. We go to war every 2 years, and an army wins not from the brilliance of its generals or the, you know, the shiny, inspirational quality of its candidates, but you know, the Democratic Party is the General Army, and the General Army succeeds because of the corporals and the majors and the sergeants and the captains and the general infantry. That's where that army succeeds, and that's who you guys are, and the people who step up to take these positions. You're not going to get quoted in the paper, but you make it happen. And so, you know, our army kicks their army's ass, and it's because of you guys, and I can't tell you how much that's appreciated. Thank you. I'm going to run off without taking questions. Mr. Ehrenstein. Wait, can I guess? No, go ahead. Surprise me.
This time I'll surprise you. How are things coming along the banks of the South Platte River? And I'm thinking particularly along Overland there, our area.
Yeah. Yes, the South Platte River has been a focus of ours for a number of years, working with particularly the Overland Park community. We have a bunch of state grants, some federal grants, the city's putting money in, and so we are transforming the South Platte into, you know, we have the shining example of Confluence Park and what's happened right there around downtown, but we want to make the South Platte River an amenity for the whole city and something that attracts people. And the vision ultimately is to be able to take a canoe or a kayak and be able to, you know, paddle without risking your life all the way down the reach from Englewood to Adams County. So, you know, laying the banks back. We've piggybacked on some RTD work to do that. So we continue to invest in the South Platte. You probably know more than anybody about what we're doing right around Overland Pond. in addition to that, I'll make a small plug for little old District 7, Ruby Hill Park.
Yes.
Which, you know, for years had been kind of a neglected park. Nobody really knew where it was. It's a beautiful park. It has million-dollar views of the city and the Front Range. You can stand in one spot and see, you know, Pikes Peak and Longs Peak and downtown all in one vista. But, you know, we had people tagging stuff there and people doing donuts in the grass. We put a lot of money into that park. Phase 1 of Ruby Hills revitalization, so to speak, was done a year and a half ago. Yeah. And so we have a brand new picnic pavilion up there. In fact, the Democratic Party, I didn't go to the picnic last year. Did you have it at Ruby Hill?
Yeah.
Excellent. So everybody knows all about Ruby Hill. But in addition to that, we're going to kick off Phase 2 this coming year. And part of Phase 2 is something I'm real excited about, which is we're partnering with a nonprofit foundation to create a music amphitheater in that kind of natural bowl in Ruby Hill, just sort of downhill from the pavilion. There's sort of a natural bowl. And with this foundation money, it's going to be state-of-the-art music pavilion that is contractually obligated to put on 50 free concerts every year.
Wow.
Jazz in the Park South.
Jazz in the Park South, indeed. I mean, all kinds of stuff. So that will be a great amenity. I think, you know, people will be coming to Ruby Hill. Ruby Hill will no longer be the park that you know, the world forgot. It'll be it'll come to people's minds instantly, and I think that'll be a great sort of revitalizing impulse in the South End, and particularly on the west side.
Not to mention it should help take a little pressure off of Wash Park.
Indeed, indeed. Wash Park is the most
Overused.
kind of like yeah, it's the most overused park, and Ruby Hill is the most underused park. But
Thank you.
Thank you.
yeah.
How do the Ruby Hill neighborhoods feel about the music?
They're mostly excited. And, you know, you get 3 people, you're bound to get at least 2 opinions. But this is actually this is the product of a long planning process. So early on, I think not long after I got elected in 2007, we had a Ruby Hill master planning process. And in that Ruby Hill master plan was actually a smaller idea, sort of a, you know, an amphitheater or a band shell down at the bottom of that natural bowl. And then just sort of, you know, casting about and, you know, looking around, we found this foundation whose mission is to build these kinds of music amphitheaters.
And that bowl shape, isn't it sort of, they figure the sound should head away from the neighborhoods that are
Yeah.
closest to it.
Yeah. In fact, we did a couple of sort of proofs of concept by holding concerts there using the portable stage that the city and county has. And the last one we had was Mary Louise Lee, the mayor's wife. And man, she is a performer extraordinaire and loud as can be. And yeah, she really belts it out, I'll tell you, it's exciting. But so we had that down there, and I got there late. And so I was on my bike, so I'm outside and right on Florida Avenue. And I was like, oh my God, did they cancel it or something? What happened? Because I could not hear a thing. Not even the faint sound. I couldn't hear a thing. And then I went up to the top, and I couldn't hear a thing. And it wasn't until I got into Ruby Hill Park that I could hear it, and it was booming. And so the acoustics of that space are fantastic. And there was another experience in that, for that proof of concept, that was just, this isn't just proof of concept like this is going to work without driving people crazy, but proof of concept of what something like that could mean. So the Greenway Foundation put it on. And the Greenway Foundation, most of their supporters are kind of, you know, Tony, better off, white folks living downtown. And usually they have their concert series downtown at Confluence Park. This was the first one they did outside of Confluence Park. So they were a little nervous going down to Ruby Hill, going on to the west side. You have this black lady singing on the stage, You got these white folks from downtown, a little bit nervous, but still into it there. You had the little sort of more scruffy and idiosyncratic South Denver crowd, of which many of you look in the camera. And you had some West Siders who were just, coming over out of curiosity. So you had this whole mix, black, white, Latino, rich, middle class, poor. And then there were these kind of badass cholo types kind of coming down, and that bandana's low on their forehead, and they were kind of like, what the hell's this? Who's taking over a park? And they were sort of, looking kind of like they're picking a fight with somebody. And Mary Louise Lee said, what are you doing? Why aren't you dancing? And they kind of like looked at her, and she was like, come on up here, come on up here. And so they actually came up, and she got them kind of like, rocking out to her music. So there it was. It was like the perfect mix, the perfect melting pot. It was sort of like, 50 times a year, we're going to make this happen. So it was exciting.
In answer to that question, 7 years ago, 7 of the neighborhoods around the park got together and worked really hard on raising awareness of the underutilization, and also about a little bit of a fight with Excel that you don't win. But nevertheless, we got a lot of input from all the neighborhoods, including the West Washington Park neighborhood, because again, if that park succeeds to go where it looks like the vision's going to take it, it will help us.
That's right. It's actually good that Jeff Walker's not here, because he works for Excel in his day job. But we did manage to dig $100,000 out of Excel for the power line on the top. And in fact,
we didn't get to bury them.
We didn't get to bury them. That's a whole lot more than that. But that $100,000, there's another element in the reimagination of Ruby Hill Park on the south side, which is really underutilized. No one pays any attention down there. We're going to have a mountain bike sort of
course,
skills trick course. So there'll be a million reasons to go to Ruby Hill.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good. Thanks, Chris. We're going to jump ahead quickly, as our state chair, Rick Palacio, had promised he could come today, and then he had to cancel this week. But Ed Hall, our county chair, is here and needs to leave, and he wanted to talk for a minute or two, so we're going to give Ed a quick...
Hi, everyone. I want to start by thanking you all for supporting me and electing me chair. I hope I do a good job by you all. And I want to congratulate our returning officers to HD2 and all the new officers in 2. You guys have a really good team. And we're all very excited to get going and keep this party moving forward. I guess, listening to Chris Nevitt, I probably should have worn my camouflage uniform. The main reason I'm here this morning is to talk about the Colorado Democratic Party Jefferson-Jackson dinner, which is coming up March 2nd. It happens after the state party reorg, and tickets are $130 if you buy them from the state, but the state party allows every county to buy 4 tables at a discounted rate. And so I'm here because we still have a few tickets left, so I just wanted to see if anyone was interested in going. The tickets are $110. We've been sitting with other Denver folks. And my time is up. So
It's your warning, a 1 minute warning.
1 minute warning. Okay, 1 minute warning. So is anyone interested in going?
Nobody else has followed it.
Take my money.
What's that?
Take my
Take
money.
Okay. And, okay, if anyone else wants one, send me an email at share@denverdemocrats.org. And I want you all to know that I'm always available. If you have a question or a concern, or you want to congratulate someone on something, please do feel free to communicate with me, chair@denverdemocrats.org. I can give you my phone number if you want it. It's 720-256-4764. We want to be accessible to you guys, because you guys are the folks who get the work done in the party, and we want to make sure that everything's all working together and moving toward the same goals. So thank you very much, and I'll come by and collect some money here in a minute.
All right, I'm going to jump out of order quickly just to hit one of our guests, who's a HD2 resident, I believe. Is that right, Matt? Where are you? Is he still here? Yeah.
That's right.
And, you know, we had the State of the Union party, State of the Union on Tuesday, and it was a party. I had a watch party over at my house, and Matt is the state coordinator for Organizing for America now. So he kind of helped,
Organizing
you know,
for action.
Organizing for Action, thank you. Helped people like me get our parties off the ground and excited, and is helping to plan a day of action for next Friday. And I just wanted to take a couple minutes now to talk about the direction that Organizing for Action is going to take here on out.
Thanks, and thank you all for being here this morning. It's a little bit chilly for my taste. I'm from Phoenix originally, so I'm a desert kid. I thrive much more in the summer.
This is high desert here.
It is, it's true. But I will be quick. We are Organizing for Action, and we, as President Obama's grassroots team, know that you guys are interested in doing more, right? We see in the state legislature that, hey, we're pushing our agenda forward through controlling and preventing gun violence. And there are some really key things that we need to work on, not only at the state level, but at the federal level. You know, it's really great that we're going to be able to get a democratic, liberal, progressive agenda through the state legislature, but that's not going to stop somebody from driving up to Wyoming and purchasing a 100-barrel clip and then doing some damage. And the sad reality is, if we don't pass something concurrent on the federal level as well, then we're going to have something that really shines here in Colorado and can be a beacon for the nation. But it's going to fall flat when somebody can go across state lines, get whatever they want, whatever assault rifle, whatever weapon of war, and bring it back and then execute something terrible. So, we're lucky in Colorado, though, because we do have great allies working at the state legislature, and we're going to piggyback off those efforts. We're not here to compete. For those of you guys who you worry about competing interests, like, we want to do everything in the same vein through different tactics. So what we are going to do is next Friday we're going to have our first day of action. It's going to be a national day of action talking about preventing gun violence. This is something that can occur anywhere. Like I said, I'm from Arizona. I grew up in Tucson. I wasn't there for the Gabby Gifford shooting, but I was miles away. It happens in Chicago each and every day with handguns. It's something that we need to address nationally as well as the state level. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. We are going to have, like I said, next Friday, a couple of letters to the editor, writing parties. I'm still, fortunately, waiting for clearance to make sure that we're being very sensitive to what happened in Aurora last summer. But we're just going to have it at a couple of volunteers' homes, and I will be happy to send out that information to you in the next day or so once that gets approved from the top up. I don't like to send out misinformation and really would hate to confuse y'all. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Two things real quick. Go to BarackObama.com if you haven't already and sign up for Organizing for Action. It's just another email listserv that can keep you involved. That's how we found out about State of the Union watch parties. We said, hey, who wants to host one? People like Owen signed up. We had more than 30 in the state. And then we sent out invitations. We had over 500 people come out without a single staffer in the state to say, I want to do something for President Obama. I want to get to work. I want to get something done. So that's the first thing. The second thing is when I finally, hopefully later today, get approval that these are the parties we're going to do. This is what we can send out. I'm going to send to Owen, and he can help me send out to you guys. I will give you my contact info in those emails, and you can feel free to reach out to me anytime. So I know that we're running a little over, and I don't want to take up anybody's, the rest of the morning, but if anybody has a couple of quick questions, I'd be happy to answer. If not, find me afterwards. All right, thank you guys.
And so maybe we can go to our PCP spotlight now. I do want to, is it going to be possible for each of you to do it in 5 minutes? Is that, okay, so we'll try to do that. And I do want to share, just for less than a minute, what Obama said. How many people were on the phone with him after the State of the Union? Rita was at my party, and he asked that he called. We called him, but he contacted me earlier and said, "I want to talk to your folks." So just some of the things he talked about. He was very brief. Right after the State of the Union, he got on the phone with us and he said, "It's people like you who are going to help us realize this vision. Remember, it was a vote for action, not politics as usual. That's what the win was, and that we need to." Take responsibility that we were given at the last election and stay organized and support the jobs bills that he's going for, the whole middle class jobs package, and work neighbor to neighbor I'm done. We're going to communicate those ideas and do that grassroots stuff that we've been doing all along to keep the momentum going. So now we're going to do a part of our program where we've got PCPs who, we're going to have Sarah Marsden, who's a PCP in 231, right? Talk a little bit about the various things she's been involved in, including a great trip she had to the White House for the holiday party last year.
Good morning, fellow Democrats. I don't think I did any more than you folks did this year, but I did contribute and I did work hard. I worked for Joe McCosey's campaign a couple nights a week. I'm a PCP. I worked for the Obama campaign, and they set up housekeeping in my. They set up housekeeping in my district. I mean, in my house. So this is we're sort of starting in the middle here, but this is the outside of the White House. I was walking around taking pictures as I went. I started at the executive building where we had a briefing